Thumbs up. Go ahead. Everyone pump together. Go. Kaylin.
Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Kaylin. Show them what's you have for number 1. What's you have for number 2. How many?
Number 1, I have 13, and for number 2, I have 9.
Okay. What happened? Give one example for number 1.
I was happy because my aunt made me a bracelet.
Oh, really? Can you show?
Mm,
With bracelets. Oh, wow. That's nice. Okay. And what about number 2? Remember?
no.
You don't remember what happened? Okay, Michelle. What happened, Michelle? Number 1.
Number 1, I have 5, and number 2, I have 1.
Okay, what happened with number 1?
With number 1, I was happy because I got good grades for my homework for a few days in a row.
Wow, great. Okay, how about number 2? What happened?
For number 2, I was sad because I couldn't wake up.
What's that?
I couldn't wake up early.
I could not get that. One more time.
I couldn't wake up on time.
Oh, you couldn't wake up on time. That's why you feel sad, right? Okay. Vivian, are you there? Vivian? Okay, anyone else that have number 1, number 2? Oh, Michelle, tell them one more time. What do you have with why you have number 1, why you have number 2? Explain to them, Michelle.
I have number 1 because whenever I'm happy, I put a coin in, and then for number 2, it's the opposite because like when you're sad, you put it in number 2.
Okay, Justin. Kaylin Dương, where Justin? Justin, yeah, show. How many number 1 you have? Number 2 you have?
Number 1, I have 3, and number 2, I have 1.
Okay, give one example for number 1.
Number 1, I was happy because my aunt came home.
Your aunt come home. You love her? Good. How about number 2? What happened?
I don't remember.
You better write out, okay? Next time, you better write out, okay? Yes. All right, let's see here. Anyone else? Anyone else have the coin? Liana, you have any number 1, number 2?
Good one.
How about Caitlin? Caitlin from New Jersey. You have number 1 and you have number 2?
I'm not at my house.
Oh, you are not at your house? Okay, but you keep them? You keep them?
Yeah.
Okay. You guess? Give one example for number 1.
So if you're happy, then you go to bottle number 1 and you like.
Okay, give one example that you put there for number 1.
Say that you got like a new item that you really like. And you go to bottle number 1 and you talk about it.
How about number 2?
And number 2, if like you're in class, if you get bullied or something, you get picked on, then you go to bottle number 2.
Okay, Diana, turn on the cam, Diana. How many 1 you have? How many 2 you have? Diana.
Yeah, I have to count.
Yeah, go and get that. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Home, you have number 1 and number 2?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead, Diana. How many? What for 1? How many for 2?
I have 4 1s and 2 2s.
What happened? Give one example for 1.
I got a good grade on my test.
When? Yesterday? Today.
and today.
What
Today
did you
and
get?
yesterday.
What did you get?
On my test?
Mm-hmm.
One of them I got like 98 and one of them I got 100.
Wow, you smart. Congratulations. How about number 2? What happened?
I can't remember. I think I was probably just tired.
That's all?
Probably, or maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I got a lot of homework that day, so I was tired.
Yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay. All right, good. Anyone else? Anyone else want to show me number 1 and number 2? Okay. All right, let me let me share with you this video, okay? And Diana, I'd like you to summarize for them, okay, Diana?
Sure.
Okay, listen, okay?
He realized that the suffering. Once upon a time, there was a high-class, rich man. As he became older, he realized that the suffering of old age was about the same for rich and poor alike. So he gave up his wealth and class position and went into the forest to live as a poor monk. He practiced meditation and developed his mind. He freed himself from unwholesome thoughts and became contented and happy. His peacefulness and friendliness gradually drew 500 followers to his side. At that time, long ago, most monks usually looked pretty serious, but there was one monk who, even though he was quite dignified, always wore at least a little smile. No matter what happened, he never lost his glimmer of inner happiness, and on happy occasions he had the broadest smile and the warmest laugh of all. Sometimes monks, as well as others, would ask him why he was so happy that he always wore a smile. He chuckled and said, "If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, and if you thought I spoke a lie, it would be a dishonor to my master." The wise old master knew the source of the happiness that could not be wiped from his face. He made this happiest monk his number 1 assistant. One year, after the rainy season, the old monk and his 500 followers went to the city. The king permitted them to live in his pleasure garden for the springtime. The king was a good man who took his responsibilities as ruler seriously. He tried to protect the people from danger and to increase their prosperity and welfare. He always had to worry about neighboring kings, some of whom were unfriendly and threatening. He often had to make peace between his own rival ministers of state. Sometimes his wives fought for his attention and for the advancement of their sons. Occasionally, a dissatisfied subject even threatened the life of the king himself. And of course, he had to worry constantly about the finances of the kingdom. In fact, he had so much to worry about that he never had time to be happy. As summer approached, he learned that the monks were preparing to return to the forest. Considering the health and welfare of the old leader, the king went to him and said, "Your Reverence, you are now very old and weak. What good does it do to go back to the forest? You can send your followers back while you remain here." The chief monk then called his number 1 assistant to him and said, "You are now to be the leader of the other monks while you all live in the forest. As I am too old and weak, I will remain here as offered by the king." So the 500 returned to the forest and the old one remained. The number 1 assistant continued practicing meditation in the forest. He gained so much wisdom and peace that he became even happier than before. He missed the master and wanted to share his happiness with him. So he returned to the city for a visit. When he arrived, he sat on a rug at the foot of the old monk. They didn't speak very much, but every so often the number one assistant would say, "What happiness! Oh, what happiness!" Then the king came to visit. He paid his respects to the chief monk. However, the one from the forest just kept saying, "What happiness! Oh, what happiness!" He did not even stop to greet the king and show proper respect. This disturbed the king, and he thought, "With all my worries, as busy as I am looking after the kingdom, I take time out for a visit, and this monk does not respect me enough to even recognize me. How insulting!" he said to the senior of the two monks. "Venerable sir, this monk must be stupid from overeating. That must be why he is so full of happiness. Does he lie around here so lazy all the time?" The head monk replied, "O king, have patience, and I will tell you the source of his happiness. Not many know it. He was once a king, just as rich and mighty as you. Then he was ordained a monk and gave up his kingly life. Now he thinks his old happiness was nothing compared to his present joy. He used to be surrounded by armed men who guarded and protected him. Now, sitting alone in the forest with nothing to fear, he has no need for armed guards. He has given up the burden of worrying about wealth that has to be protected. Instead, free of the worry of wealth and the fear of power, his wisdom protects himself and others. He advances in meditation to such inner peace that he cannot keep from saying, "What happiness! Oh, what happiness!" The king understood at once. Hearing the story of the happy monk made him feel at peace. He stayed for a while and received advice from both of them. Then he honored them and returned to the palace. Later, the happy monk, who once had been a king, paid his respects to his master and returned to the lovely forest. The old chief monk lived out the remainder of his life, died, and was reborn in a high heaven world.
And the moral is,
Okay. So go ahead, Diana, summarize for them, Diana.
So there was a high class rich man, and he
your happiness
Sorry.
became a poor monk, and he got 500 followers. And a lot of the monks were serious, but there was this one happy monk, and he was always smiling. And a lot of the other monks would ask him why he was so happy, but he said that they wouldn't believe him if he told. So then, the chief, the leader of the group, made the happy monk the number one assistant. And one day they took the monks to a pleasure garden in the spring. And there was a king, and he was worrying about everything, like his wealth and his money and everything that was going on. And then the chief who was in charge got too old. So then the happy monk became the one in charge, and he led all of the monks in the forest. And one day he missed the old retired chief, so he visited him in the pleasure garden, and he kept on saying "Oh, this happiness," or "Oh, so happy." And he kept saying that, so he didn't greet the king, and the king felt disrespected and asked the chief what was wrong with him. And the chief told him his source of happiness was that he once was a king just as wealthy as him, and he gave up all of his all of his wealth to become a monk, and that was why he was so happy.
Okay, so what do you learn about this story?
The what?
What do you learn about this story?
You don't need much to be happy. He once had a lot of money, and he had armed guards always like protecting him, but he had too much wealth and too much to think about, so he never had time to be happy. And when he let everything go and he just lived a simple, poor life in the forest, he was much happier.
Okay. So, do you need to be a billionaire to be happy?
No.
Why not?
Because maybe if you're a billionaire, then you have so much going on. You have a lot of things to worry about. So then you never have time to be happy.
How about you? What is the simple life that you think you can be happy?
I don't need much to be happy. I don't think, as long as like I'm safe, then I think I'll be fine.
Okay, so in your standard, what is the most happy life you may have?
A happy life. Just like having family and friends, and just like a simple life of going like home every day and having like a warm bed, and that's it. I don't need much.
Good. How about you, Caitlin from New Jersey? What is your standard of happy life? Turn on the mic. Yeah. Caitlin from New Jersey. What is your standard of having happy life?
Wait, did you call me?
Yeah, I call you.
What did you say? Because I couldn't hear you.
What is the standard? What's your standards of a happy life?
I don't really get what that means.
Oh boy. All right. How about Michelle? What's your standard of having a happy life? Michelle.
Basically, having a house big enough to live in for like at least 3 people, and just like good food and water, and that's it.
Do you need to have $1 billion in the bank?
No.
Do you need to have a spaceship to fly to the moon?
If I had an alien pet.
Okay. All right. So you understand that, Caitlin? So can you tell them what's your standard of having happy life? Yeah.
So you have a big house and you have enough money to take care of yourself.
Okay. So you need to have a big house. How big is that? How big is the house you want to be big?
Big to fit like probably like 2 or 3 people.
Oh, that's big. How big is that? So 2 or 3 people can sleep inside.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good then. All right. So anyway, depend upon, right? About Caitlin Young from St. Louis. What's your standard of having a happy life?
I would just need to be safe and loved.
Be safe, right? And you need to eat, and you don't need to eat.
I need to eat.
Caden, what's your standard of having a happy life, Caden? Move closer. Move closer.
Grades.
Move closer.
Doing good on your grades.
Oh, doing good in your grade. That's you make you happy, right? That's good. That's right. That's okay too. All right. So Vivian, are you there, Vivian? All right. Let me turn to thầy giáo Pháp then. Thầy giáo Pháp. Yeah, thầy giáo Pháp.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Do you know today? What is the date for today?
I know. New Year. Lunar New Year.
New Year.
Lunar New Year.
New Year Eve.
Happy Lunar.
We say Happy New Year, right?
Yeah.
Happy New Year. And who will be? Okay, let's see. For the New Year. Okay, let's do the meditation together.
Thầy, almost 6 hours mean New Year.
Oh, 6 hours, no, New Year. Oh, wow, thank you. Oh my goodness, you good. You good. Good, thank you, God.
Come on, thầy.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now we can do the meditation. Close your eye and sit still. All right. Let's see. Victor, Amy, Mason,
27.
Mom.
I forgot. I didn't remember.
Oh, how could you forget? Okay, all right. Jennifer, Kellen Young, Justin,
10.
Lena.
31.
Good. Tim and Chloe in Kentucky. Okay, all right. We continue on what this movie, and Maitreya Bodhisattva, he for the New Year, he represent the Happy Buddha. Yeah. Did you guys watch this thing yesterday?
Their bodies will be 160 feet tall. Every day they will enjoy wonderful peace and bliss. Experiencing deep meditations as their instrument of happiness, they will have only 3 troubles. First, need to eat and drink. Second, need to discharge water. And third, need to grow old. A woman will marry when they are 500 years old. There will be a great city called Ketuma, 1,200 yojanas in length and width. 7 yojanas in elevation and adorned with 7. In the city will be magically created towers made by 7 treasures, and they will be majestic, wonderful, august, and pure. Through the windows will be seen fair maidens, holding nets made with precious gems.
Victor Tudor, can you help me to summarize this story at the end? Victor?
Say what now?
Can you pay attention to the movie and help them to summarize?
Oh, help with the summary at the very end? All right, I can do that.
Thank you very much.
These towers will be covered with various treasures as adornment, and hung with jeweled bells, and sound with resembles celestial music. Among the lines of the trees made of the 7 treasures will be waterways and fountains also made of the 7 treasures. The streams in various colors will reflect and highlight one another. Although crisscrossing, they will not obstruct one another. The river banks will be covered by gold dust. The streets and roads will be 12 lists wide, all as fresh as celestial gardens sprinkled with water and swept clean. There will be a great dragon king called Tarigashi, has acquired merit and awesome powers. His lake being near the city, his palace like a tower made of 7 treasures will be fully visible from a distance. At each midnight, he will assume human form and fill the auspicious bottle with scented water. He will sprinkle the water to drench the dust until the ground looks like as moist. When the pedestrians walk around, there will be no dust. Because of the merit of the people everywhere around the streets and alleys, there will be luminous gems mounted on the poles, 12 lists high. Their light surpassing the sunlight will reach 80 yojanas in each of the 4 directions. The pure golden light will shine day and day. In comparison, the light of lamps and candles when fragrant wind blows, the luminous gems on the poles will rain down necklaces of jewels. And people will wear them as naturally as if they were enjoying the bliss in the 3rd diadem. Everywhere there will be gold, silver, jewels, precious gems, and forth piled high like mountains. These treasure mountains will radiate light to illuminate the entire city. Whenever touched by this light, people will be happy and activate the Bodhi mind. There will be great Yagisa called who protects the city of Kentumana by day and night. Followed by the people, he will sprinkle water and sweep the ground clean. The ground will crack open to take in the people's waste products and close afterwards. And it will grow red lotus flowers to overpower the foul odor. When the people of that world grow and frail, they will be voluntarily go to the mountain forest to sit under a tree. As they keep thinking of Buddhists, they will die peacefully and joyfully without repentance. After death, most of them will be reborn in great Brahma heaven or in the presence of Buddha. In that peaceful land, there will be no trouble from bandits or thieves. The doors in cities and villages will never be closed. Nor will there be catastrophes or water fire weapons, nor the tribulations of famine or toxins. Taming the faculties will live in to one another. They will be like son loving his father, like mother loving. Taught and guided by Maitreya Buddha with his loving kindness, they will speak humble words. Those who will have observed the precept of no killing and no eating flesh will be reborn in that world. The faculties will be sincere, and their features will be even and comely as inspiring as those. The city of Ketuma will be situated in the center of 84,000 small cities made of treasures. Men and women, adults and children living near or far, because of the spiritual power of the Buddha, will be able to see one another without. Everywhere in the world will be wish-fulfilling. Jeweled flowers that shine. The sky will rain down flowers. Scattered all over the ground will be flowers of Padma, Utapala, Kanda. Some of them, swept up by the winds, will whirl in the air. Near the cities and villages of that land, the bathing ponds, fountains, rivers, and lakes and the gardens and forests will naturally have water with the 8 virtues, singing wonderful melodies by geese, ducks, Mandarin ducks, peacocks, parrots, pelicans, and quick-sighted birds.
Oh, sorry. It's more pocket time. Okay. Okay, Victor, go ahead and quickly in 1 minute.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and quickly summarize the entire thing. So essentially, he spoke about a great city, those that are filled with the 7 treasures. It is a utopia, or a perfect city in which all bad things would be non-existent. All things such as disasters and famines and all that, it's gone. But all the pleasures, all the happiness, all the things that people can indulge in will be there. That is essential. even to the point of death, all of them would become happy and die peacefully. Old would go under the tree and think of the Buddhas and think of enlightenment, think of all that stuff until they die and will be reincarnated as a Buddha or go to the heaven world, you could say. So in other words, the narrator just described a perfect world.
Do you know how old they live?
They do what now?
84,000 years old. They can live up to 84,000 years old.
4,000 years old.
Yeah. They tall about 160 feet.
Time.
Yeah.
It's 5:30.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No problem.
Yeah, okay, everyone, turn on the cam, please. A lot of you have not turned on the cam. Turn on the cam, please.
Thank you, Victor.
Good. Okay. All right, let me count from 1 to 3, and you guys can log in, okay? 1, 2, and go.